So as you all know, I've been isolated for like 20 years, deprived of interpersonal relationships, and somebody on my channel said isolation and delusions don't mix. As you all know, I got delusions that pop stars were in love with me, rich, famous, and interesting people knew of me. And I say some people would argue isolation and lack of interpersonal relationships are what cause delusions. There's a correlation there. And socialization and self-esteem in the real world are what cure delusions. They're related. People need to engage and be in touch with reality. And one of my biggest delusions is I feel like there's a spotlight on me. I feel like I'm suffering from spotlight syndrome. I go to the gym, I go to art classes, I go to the supermarket, everywhere I go, I feel like people are looking at me, observing me, and I want to scream, "Stop looking at me! Leave me the hell alone!" And I feel like it's a bit like the Nirvana song, "Stay Away." If you've never heard the song, Kurt Cobain is screaming for people to get away from him. I think Kurt Cobain wanted to be a famous artist, but successful like the Meat Puppets or the Vaselines. He didn't want to be the guy. He didn't want to be the center of the universe. But like Kurt Cobain said, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not. Maybe I'm projecting onto him and imagining what was in his mind. Obviously, I never knew Kurt Cobain. Regardless, being massively famous didn't end well for Kurt Cobain. In fact, it couldn't have ended worse. It ended in his suicide, and, I think I'm about to become massively famous. And I'm like, why can't I be like Joanne Greenberg? Why can't I be like Daniel Johnston? Why can't I be like moderately famous like Matt Hardy? Like if Matt Hardy, the professional wrestler, were to go into the mall, maybe you'd get some teenagers screaming, "Delete, delete, delete" at Matt Hardy, but frankly, nobody would care. He would fly under the radar. I don't want to go from pretty much an unknown, nobody caring about me, nobody caring I exist, to being so massively famous that everybody's obsessed with me, because right now I feel like I have a spotlight on me. Right now I want to be left the hell alone. Imagine they take me from relative anonymity and they make me the most famous man, the Kurt Cobain, It would end in disaster. It would end with me just wanting to be left alone, throwing tantrums, screaming, shouting, like, "Get away from me, stop looking at me," So, I think it would be good if I could, find moderate success. Get recognition for my artwork, but like maybe on a small scale, like at the Fountain House. People appreciate me, they think I'm a talented artist, but not everybody's obsessed with me like, I'm this rock god,